Yeah. Well, with, you know, with the small ball, bigger hole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use me a tennis ball tomorrow. Huh? Get me a tennis ball out here. Here you go, Willie boy. Huh? Where are we going anyway? I'm just following the crowd. Oh, we go this way. Well, I got a caddy, don't know where the hell he's going either.
Every year, the Open seems to attract more and more people, and this year was no exception. Once again, the records were broken, and 84,000 people came to watch in the 4 days. Lee Trevino, the gay extrovert, and also, incidentally, the holder. He only just got here in time from the Canadian Open.
No, I have a marker. I have a small coin here.
That sort of thing would bother him less than almost any other player. All eyes, though, are really on Jack Nicklaus and the prospect of his Grand Slam. He's got 2 legs in hand already. Now he wants this one and the USPGA Championship. As the ancient jug which has crossed the Atlantic so many times, can we keep it at home this time? The honourable company of Edinburgh golfers, whose course this is, haven't always played here. They started 2 centuries ago at Musselburgh, and then they moved to Leith, near Edinburgh, and before the turn of the century came to their present home in this beautiful spot here, overlooking the Firth of Forth. On the other side of the Firth, the 2 hills they call the Paps of Fife. And on the far right, if you could see that far, would be St Andrews. The big tinted village, which is such a feature of modern championships, and more nations represented here than ever. Lee Trevino prepares to defend his title. This first hole proved to be one of the most difficult par 4s on the course. He seemed happy with that. Among those playing in the morning of the first day is the great Arnold Palmer.
That's too much.
He's won it twice, but never here at Muirfield.
Not enough club.
Yeah.
Could have hit a lot more today.
Also from the United States, Frank Beard, the only one to use the bigger ball. And Mr. Lou, who created such a sensation at Birkdale the previous year, without his hat this time.
The only way I could make a 2 is to cheat. Everybody's making all these deuces.
Many of the great American players have formed very close attachment with their caddy. This is Lee Trevino and Willie Aitchison. Then there's Palmer and Tip Anderson, and Nicklaus and Jimmy Dickinson.
I'll tell you, it's going to be a beautiful day. Man could get light complected over here if you live very long.
Palmer, not a terribly good round this morning. Not quite with it. Doug Sanders, on his way to a 71. Billy Casper holds out on the last for a 72. That keeps him in the running. And now Trevino on the 18th. He has to get down in 2 from here for a par 71. And does it right in the middle of the hole. A good par start for Trevino. And there are the scores for the leaders in the morning round, and they've had a lovely morning to perform in. Believe it or not, it was only this afternoon that we had any rain in the 4 days.
A little late? Yes, 1498.
Well, there's no doubt that Nicklaus has got the worst of the weather for the first day. The eyes of all golfing enthusiasts, both in this country and in the United States, are on him now to see if he can carry on with his Grand Slam. In winning the Masters and the US Open earlier in the year, Jack Nicklaus has led in both events in every round. He chances a wooden club at the very narrow opening up there and seems happy with it. Also out in the worst of the weather, Tony Jacklin, who a couple of years ago held the Open titles on both sides of the Atlantic at once. And Gary Player, who won here in '59, one of only 3 people to have won the Open with 4 scores, each one lower than the one before. Jack Nicklaus. It's the third, and that for a birdie, and he gets it. But on the long 5th, where he could be looking for another birdie, the slope defeats him. 5 for Nicklaus. Tony Jacklin on the 11th. He has this for a birdie. And makes it on his way to a 69. Jack Nicklaus again. Second shot to the long 9th. .495 yards, and he goes right onto the back of the green. He's got a long chance here of an eagle 3. Oh, look at that. Still, that's a birdie for Nicklaus, and he's out in 34. Then he went on to get a 3 at the 10th, to go 3 under. Here he is at the 11th. And pitches up, and down it goes into the bunker at the back. Now that goes quite a way by, and he'd be hard put to it to save a par 4 here. So Nicklaus drops a stroke at the 11th, quite an easy hole, and goes 2 under par. And that seemed to check the flow, and he finishes in 70. Better conditions now as the afternoon goes on. And there in the distance, the dim tracery of the 2 great Forth bridges. But the leader on the first day is young Peter Tupling, a Yorkshireman only 1 year turned pro. There's a magnificent second under great stress for Tupling at the 18th. And he'll have this one for a 67 to go 4 under par. Just doesn't quite, but he leads anyway with 68. So at the end of the first day, it's Tupling 3 under, Jacklin 2 under, Nicklaus 1 under, and Trevino even. For the second round, we had an absolutely perfect day. Crowds pouring in from the early morning, all enjoying themselves in the sunshine, but in fact the leading players not really matching with their scores the summer weather. Jacklin on the 6th has a long one for a try for a birdie. And in it goes, to the general delight. He always comes up with a big occasion, Jacklin. In the meantime, Nicklaus is out in 38. Here he is on the 11th. This is where he took 5 on the first day, going into that bunker. That's a very different kettle of fish for the second day. He has this for 3 to make up for the 5. And that seems to set him going again, and he finishes in even par with Jacklin 1 under and most of the rest still to come in. P. Trevino in the thick stuff for his second at the 9th. 495 yards, a par 5, but if you're on the fairway, you can often reach it. Gets that one out very well, pressing on towards the green, and in fact very nearly reaches it. That's a great shot from that rough. 2 more for a birdie. Still about 4.5 feet to go though for Trevino. Goes in by what they call the tradesman's entrance, but they all count. So that's 36 out for Trevino. He finishes in 70, 1 under for 2 rounds. And attention now passes to Doug Sanders. Here he is on the 15th. And when the ball's almost come to rest, it drops in for a birdie to put Sanders leading the tournament at this stage with 2 under. Sanders always been a great favourite in England, or should I say Britain, and I shouldn't think any golfer in history has had more sympathy for one shot than he did for his 4-foot miss in the 1970 Open at St Andrews. Now the crowd round the 18th see that as the score is altered, Sanders has had another birdie at the 17th, and now he's 3 under, and he leads the field at this moment by 2. Here he is on the 18th, and he's in a bunker on the right. I really shouldn't have thought they need the book for that one, because all he's got to do is to get out of it and make sure that he gets onto the fairway with some sort of chance of a pitch and putt to salvage his fall. And that's how deep that bunker is. Now he's safely out of there, but he hasn't done what he should do. He should have turned half left and made sure of getting on the fairway, but he's still in the rough on the right of the green. Not as thick as it was in '66 when Nicklaus won, but it's still quite thick. Now, it'll pitch up to the green for Sanders. He's there for 2. And that's way over the back of the green, leaving him a very awkward little one back. There's one character who doesn't think much of it either. So that's over the back in 3 for Sanders, and that tricky little one down to the flag, avoiding at all costs the bunker. Oh, and it's rather stabbed. The slope catches it down in the bunker for 4. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear for Sanders. Awkwardly placed at that. Almost impossible to stop the ball shortly enough there. The green sloping away from him, so he's got, at long last, this for a 6. And this for a 7. And so in a few minutes, all the good work is undone. And Sanders loses the lead, loses 3 shots, and now it's Trevino and Jacklin 1 under, leading after 2 rounds. And for the 3rd round, some more wonderful weather, huge crowds pouring in again, and all the players they've come to see grouped together at the top of the tree.
Isn't this a beautiful day? No. This would even be a nice day in Houston.
And the big crowd here couldn't be enjoying themselves more if they were at Houston instead of under the shadow of Gillen Hill. And here's Doug Sanders now, even par, level with Nicklaus. First hole, one behind Trevino and Jacklin. Ever popular, he gets a good hand as he gets it up the middle. Jack Nicklaus, what a determined countenance that is. He's still thinking in terms of this grand slam. The usual noises when Nicklaus drives are people saying, oh. Here's player. They all rush up around the first green, and it's Nicklaus to play, his second now. And there's a marvellous shot coming up, which will give him an obvious outside chance of a birdie 3 to set him on his way. Gary Player, perhaps the greatest bunker player of them all. But not with that particular one. Nicklaus, this for a birdie 3. Just slips by, but it should be all right. Oh dear, it isn't all right. And so Nicklaus starts with a very disappointing 5. Goes 1 over. We move on with the crowd to the 4th tee, short hole with Doug Sanders. Yes, very good shot indeed, and it gives him a chance of a birdie. Sanders, even par. They call it L for level in Britain. And there he goes with a 2 and 1 under. On the long 5th, which they can often reach in 2, Jacklin putting for a 3. And there's an eagle 3 for Jacklin. He goes 3 under par, and at this moment leads the Open. Sanders on the 8th. This for a birdie 3. And in it goes and puts him 3 under, level with Jacklin. On the short 7th, Gary Player. And there's no doubt where that one is, in a bird's nest in the bunker on the left. And see if he can do better out of this bunker than the one at the first. But no, that's 2 we've seen Gary Player do. Really not very good by his great standard. He needs that to save the par, but no, and it's a 4 for Player at this short hole. He fades away with a 76. Now Sanders at the 9th, the long hole alongside the grey wall all the way along on the left. He's played 2, par 5. But that one goes out of the rough stuff on the left there, quite a long way past the flag. They're all looking for birdie 4s at this hole. And Sanders once again has found one. He's out in 32. He bows again. And the scoreboard says Jacklin 3 under, Trevino 1 under, and Sanders now 4 under. Crowd rush along ahead of him. Now we see his second shot up to the 12th. There's the making of a great round coming up here, and just look at that one. It's only about 4 feet for a birdie 3 at the 12th. And that's the sort of thing that makes strong men snap their putter across their knees. Tony Jacklin. A little refreshment on the way. Now he comes up to the 9th as well. This is his second shot. They can make it in 2 today, par 5. characteristic pose by Jacklin. One wonders sometimes why, looking into the sun like that, they don't wear some form of hat. And now he needs this one for a birdie 4 to catch Sanders at 4 under. But no, and very dejected Tony Jacklin looks. So near. So he taps it in for a 5, and it's Jacklin 3 under, Trevino 1 under, Sanders 4 under, and Nicklaus even.
Huh? Oh, my God. What's Henry Longhurst saying? Oh, my boy.
And that he'll never know. So now, Doug Sanders has dropped back from 4 under to 2 under. And here he is at the 17th. Par 5, reachable in 2, wanting this for a birdie 4, and it just creeps in. And so that's 1 gain for Sanders, and it's now Trevino 2 under, Jacklin 3, Sanders 3, and Nicklaus 1 over. And here is Nicklaus, 16th, short hole. He's gone over the green. And that's the one Nicklaus is looking for. So that brings him back to even by chipping in for a 2. Now to the 18th, where Sanders had that terrible experience yesterday. He's playing the 2nd to the green. Looks to be pushed out a little. There's a curious-shaped bunker on the right of the green waiting for him, and it's got him. We saw innumerable players in this little bunker. And he gets a big hand for that, but he won't think very much of it himself. He needs a 4 for 68. Just misses. That's 69 for Doug Sanders, and 2 under par altogether. And behind him, Trevino in a hot streak here. He's had birdies at the 14th and 15th to go 3 under. That looks to be hooked to me. It's the short 16th. And in fact it is. And he's very awkwardly placed in the bunker there. He's 3 under, but looks like losing one here. See how awkwardly that lies in the back of the bunker, and he's got to get it up over the face and stop it fairly quickly. Very difficult one. Looks like going over the back. And instead of that, it goes straight into the middle of the hole and disappears like a rabbit on the 2nd bounce. And I verily think it would have gone over the back of the green. So there's a 2 for Trevino. He goes 4 under. Not an easy moment for his playing partner, Jacklin.
Can you believe that? You know, messed up kind of.
Now Jacklin on in 1. Chance of a 2, but not quite. And so, provided he gets this one in, they'll both be 4 under and tying for the lead. And that's safely in. And they both get birdie 4s at the 17th. And so, as they come to the 18th tee, they're both 5 under. Trevino first.
That's a beauty.
Jacklin.
Oh, no. Yesterday. Oh, my trouble seems so far away. Then I seen yesterday. And I know why.
Trevino really does that to try and keep himself relaxed.
Where you at, Willie? Come here, boy. I can make a birdie here. I've never made 5 birdies in a row in Great Britain. I mean in Scotland, excuse me. Huh?
No.
So he's right, he's had 4 in a row, but we've only seen 1 3 at the 18th in the whole of the championship so far. No hesitation, pitches it up, 6 iron, and too far, and over the back, about a yard. Hard to bear for Jacklin. He's had 4 birdies in a row thrown at him already, and here's Trevino from the back trying to get down in 2 more for his par. Well, that really was a diabolical one. 5 in a row. What an achievement. And how it must have made the hole shrink for Jacklin. Championship at this moment does look between these 2.
5 in a row.
He's got this to stay even with Trevino. And that's still a very nasty one indeed, that he's got the hole amid these scenes of almost unparalleled excitement. He's still got to hold that one to stay 1 behind. And there's a really brave putt by Jacklin at the end of the day. Now, I wonder if you can lip read. And so it's 66 for Trevino, and Jacklin with a 67 loses a stroke. And the end of the 3rd round, it's Trevino 6 under, Jacklin 5, Sanders 2, Barnes 1, and Nicklaus even. And the crowds leave the big stands that are so characteristic of the Open, and the sun sets over the sea at the end of the 3rd day. For the 4th round, record crowds looking forward to a really memorable day's golf. All of them, at any rate, bar 1. Nicklaus starting 6 behind now and surely out of it. That's away down the middle. He's got to go for everything now. Defensive golf, no good. And this is for a par 4, which anybody would settle for on the 1st. And Nicklaus gets his par 4 to a safe getaway. And like so. Sanders, 5. Jacklin. Five. Trevino. 5. Now Nicklaus, having made birdies at the 2nd and 3rd, comes up to the long 5th, which he can reach in 2. And that's a beautiful second shot, which gives him even a chance of an eagle 3. It's not to be, but we can almost give him that one. And that's a birdie for Nicklaus, and he's 3 under, having started even. Now back to the short 4th against the background of Gillen Hill. Tony Jacklin. And that's just in the rough, and it disturbs what is undoubtedly the fastest spectator we shall see today. Back to Doug Sanders on the 6th. He's got this long one to go 2 under. And in goes yet another. Sanders has held a tremendous number of putts here, and here he is on the 7th, putting for a 2. And yet another one, and that's 3 under for Saunders. And on the long fifth, Trevino, still the leader, defending champion, but in a bit of trouble over the back in 3. Takes a putter. Doubtful wisdom, one would have thought, and it does get caught up in the grass a bit and stays well short of the flag. Trevino having played 4 at this par 5 hole. No, and that's not going to make it. So it's a 6 for Trevino. He goes from 6 under to 5. Trevino 5 under, Jacklin 4, Nicklaus 3, Saunders 2. And just in front of the green at the par 5 ninth, Jack Nicklaus. Now 3 under. Two more for a birdie 4. Just right for length, but rather wide. Still, he's still got great chance of a birdie. And if he gets it, he'll be out in 32. There it is, 32 for Jack Nicklaus, starting even, now 4 under. Jacklin putts on the short 7th. And up comes our 4-footed friend again. Can't get out of the ring of spectators. Just at a critical moment behind Trevino's right eye. And it puts him off quite obviously, and who wouldn't be if you saw hair run right behind you as you putted? And so he's going to lose a shot there. So Trevino now with a 4 at this short hole goes to 4 under. Jacklin has this one for his par 3, and it goes one of a great many of that length that he held. But now Nicklaus, starting 6 behind, shares the lead with Trevino at 4 under. Here he is, playing his 2nd to the 10th. He's out in 32 already, remember. There's a magnificent one by Nicklaus. There's another birdie, and here is a charge, if ever there was one in golf, by Nicklaus. In fact, at this particular moment, he actually leads the field. Jacklin. It's his 2nd shot to the long 9th. They can just make it today. There's a magnificent one, probably the best seen in the whole championship. An obvious chance for an eagle 3, and up along comes Trevino. And that one's very nearly as good. So it'll be Trevino first. And he's made it. Eagle 3 for Trevino at the 9th. So that's 6 under and back in the lead. Meanwhile, Nicklaus has played another wonderful 2nd to the 11th. Just look at that one. But at the same moment, there's Jacklin on the 9th, putting for his eagle. And that's 2 of them on this par 5 9th hole. And the tumultuous shout from 400 or 500 yards away puts Nicklaus off, and he has to stop and start again. But in it goes, and so it's Nicklaus now, starting even, 6 under, level with Trevino, both one ahead of Jacklin. And among the spectators for the final round, in the dark glasses, Princess Margaret. Now the 12th, par 4, Trevino pitching up to the green. Trevino sharing the lead with Nicklaus at the moment, one ahead of Jacklin. Two fine shots to the 12th. In the meantime, Jack Nicklaus, at the same moment, is teeing off at the 15th. Jacklin on the 12th, about 5 yards this for a birdie, to go 6 under. But of course, a tremendous roar comes up as Jacklin holds that one to share the lead with Nicklaus and Trevino, a 3 at the 12th. Starts again on the 15th. But this time, another loud shout as Trevino just misses, and that puts all 3 of them together at 6 under. So now for the 3rd time in 4 holes, Nicklaus has to stop and start again. Great test of nerve. Makes no difference to him. He unleashes a huge one at this 15th. Just a few feet into the semi-rough on the right-hand side. Six under for this round, 6 under for the championship. One of the great challenging rounds that any of us can remember. And there's yet another putt with a possible birdie 3 for Nicklaus. This is the 15th. And by such little things, our championship's decided. There's a par 4, he stays 6 under. Now looking from behind, the short 16th. That always looked as if he'd had a bit of right shoulder in it. And in fact, it pitches out of our sight in the bank, just leaning up towards the green from the left. Tricky little shot, but in this sort of form, one would expect him to get down in 2 more. Par 3. Not bad from there, but just the length you rather hope you don't leave yourself this stage. Oh, so near, and yet another one. That's the first time he's exceeded par in this wonderful round, and it sets him back to 5 under. And Nicklaus fails to get the birdie 4 at the 17th, which was well within his power. Comes to the 18th, 5 under, 1 off the lead. That's safely on the green, but asking rather too much to get that one in, to go and join in the lead at 6 under again. He gets a tremendous hand. Very, very popular here, and what a wonderful scene to finish this championship. This was where he won 6 years ago. Now, almost a forlorn hope for Jack Nicklaus. 12 yards away. And not quite. And with that putt goes almost certainly his hopes of the great Grand Slam. "66 for Jack Nicklaus, and it might have been 62. Back down the 18th fairway, Doug Saunders. He's 3 under. And he's caught by rolling into that curious-shaped bunker on the right of the green, like so many people before him. Also bunkered, Brian Barnes. He's 1 under and the leading British player apart from Jacklin. And there's a magnificent one to finish with for Barnes. He finishes 1 under. So Saunders now wants to get down in 2 from this bunker to stay 3 under. And as he putts for his par 4, one knows what's going through his mind, even though he gets it. That is, why did I take 7 here in the second round? So back at the 17th, Trevino and Jacklin, each 6 under, leading the field together. One of them must surely be the winner. And that's a bad one by Trevino. It's hooked into a bunker under a steep face. He's disgusted. That looks to be swinging in Jacklin's favour. Look at that one under that face there. Just gets it out onto the fairway. Still a long way to go. This is a par 5 hole, but Jacklin can just about reach it in 2. There's Trevino's 3rd, and he's equally disgusted with that. Throws his club away and starts to walk over to the thick rough, in which they have to spend a moment looking for it. And as they walk over there, he says to Jacklin, "I'm through, it's all yours." Still about 120 yards to go for his 4th shot. That's another disappointment. It runs about 12 feet over the back of the green. So Trevino over in 4. Jacklin with a good second, just short in 2. They've all pegging both 6 under, and one of them must be the winner. Simple little shot for Jacklin. He knows so well these seaside courses. And it could have been a little nearer. It's about 6 yards. I'll get as near as you can, but still, he must surely get a 5, and Trevino must surely take 6. Trevino chips it nonchalantly down there. And nobody believes their eyes, but confound it, that's the 4th time in this championship, and Trevino chips it in from off the green. Really diabolical. So now Jacklin has got to get down in 2 to keep level. Shot by. Anybody would pray not to have one like that in circumstances like this. And there it is. And it's 6 for Jacklin, and a moment that he will remember and go over and over again all his life. Nearly on in 2, down in 6. Trevino off in 4, down in 5. But if I say that Trevino's chip was diabolical, I don't mean that it was in any way unpopular. So now they come to the last hole with Trevino really almost unaccountably 1 ahead. Plays with refreshing speed this very important shot. And just look at the result, only about 6 feet from the hole. Jacklin was really rocked by that one at the 17th. He confessed that afterwards, and who wouldn't be? He gets a very fine hand for these huge stands, but his heart must be very sad. Trevino can hardly believe it's true. Jacklin in the bunker in 2. And now, after all this, he wants to get down in 2 more to keep even with Jack Nicklaus. No wonder he walks wearily out of the bunker.
Get in. Get in. Get in.
But now everybody would like to have seen that one in, but he's just run out of steam now. So it's a 5 for Jacklin to finish. Finishes 6-5 and is 1 behind Jack Nicklaus. Now the final scene for Trevino, and he's got 2 for it. He just misses, but it's my guess that if he'd only had 1 for it, he would have got it in. So Lee Trevino is yet again the champion, and he gets a really cordial hand from all these spectators round the last green at Muirfield. And so, on this lovely summer evening, the 101st British Open Championship passes into history.
Hello, baby. We get this 20 pounds. I'll be right in, okay? Where's Willie? Where's Willie? Excuse me, please. Willie. Excuse me. Pardon.
With a score of 278, prize money of £5,500, the champion golfer of the year, Lee Trevino.
Thank you. I really don't. I'm a little short guy. I really don't know what to say. All the words of encouragement that Jack has given me in the past couple of years seem to be paying off. I know he probably wished he'd have kept his mouth shut. Probably a couple, but this is the way Jack Nicklaus is. He tries to help as many fellow golf professionals as he possibly can. But I've enjoyed it, and I want to leave you with one thing. 84,000 people is unbelievable, and I think that you enjoyed the weather. I hope you enjoyed the championship. I'm very proud to be your Open champion once again, and I hope to see you again next year. Thank you very much.